What is up, everybody? Coach Juma here, and today we're going to be breaking down the hidden calories that are ruining your weight loss. These are calories that you're consuming without even realizing it, and more often than not can help you lose considerable weight or break plateaus really quickly. What this looks like in practice is that if you're logging your food, you might have logged 1400 calories, 1600 calories for the day that you ate, but what happens is these hidden calories are sneaking their way into your body, and you're actually consuming 1800, 2000, or even more calories a day. You can be doing a lot of the right practices, training properly, tracking your lifts, getting in a lot of movement, tracking your calories and counting the food that you're having, and still be stuck with your weight loss goals. Before trying to reduce your calories even further or add in more cardio, it's really helpful to check in, see if you're falling victim to any of these hidden calories, and adjust for those. So now you could still have the same goal. Let's say your goal is 1600 calories, and instead of reducing it down to 1400 calories, you just adjust or remove this hidden calorie that you weren't taking into account. And now you're actually eating 1600 calories instead of eating 1800 calories like you were accidentally doing before. So if you're stuck, you're in a plateau, you're not sure what to do next, listen through for all of these. Odds are you're experiencing at least one, if not more of them, and it's keeping you from getting to your goal. So today we're going to help you identify where these hidden calories are, how you can be on top of it, and plan ahead of it so you're not falling victim to these traps. We're going to start with some simple ones first and go into more complex ones as the video goes on. So starting off, drink calories are a substantial amount of calories that a lot of novice dieters will fail to account for. Calories from drinks are really sneaky because when you start dieting, you're really focused on the food that you're eating and you fail to account for calories you're drinking. Maybe you're ordering a coffee at your favorite place, or you're having a fruit juice, a smoothie, a protein shake, whatever. All of these have calories to them, and in some cases can be as much as 500 to 800 calories per drink. Obviously not something you want to hear and kind of ruins the drinking experience of your favorite drink, but this can be easily fixed. Instead of having fruit juices or smoothies, opt to actually eat those foods instead. You'll save yourself a lot of calories, and you'll still get the micronutrient benefits of having fruit, berries, greens, or things like that. And you'll be managing your hunger with that at the same time. If you're having a protein shake, try to put as few ingredients as possible. Just the protein powder would be key here, and opting for water or a lower calorie milk like a nut milk versus a whole milk can help save you calories in that department as well. And if you're ordering coffee, you don't like ordering coffee black, I don't blame you. Black coffee doesn't taste great. Sweeten it up with 0-calorie sweeteners like a Splenda, like a stevia, and order it with 0-calorie syrups instead. Most coffee places have that option, so you can have the same flavors, have the same tastes without having all the calories at the same time. The next hidden calorie killer that usually sneaks up on people is dressings and sauces. So again, you want to eat healthy, you want to have a salad, reduce your calorie intake that way, but then you top it with 300, 500 calorie dressing. It kind of cancels out. You're in the same position as you were before. You could have even been better off having a burger. And the same thing is true for sauces and condiments. It's easy to forget tracking these things or taking these into account in real time because you don't consider it as the main meal. This isn't to say that you can't have them, but rather we should be smart about it. So opt for 0-calorie or low-calorie alternatives for your favorite flavors. They have a lot of great options out there on Amazon, at your favorite grocery stores, wherever you want, that will help you get a good flavorful meal experience without having it be so calorie heavy. And another thing that you could do is have your dressing, sauces, or condiments on the side instead of on top of the food that you're eating, and then dipping your food in it in amounts that you want to. This will help you use a lot less of the sauce and dressing and save you a ton of calories in the end. Because the big issue here is that salads, dressings, sauces, and condiments have an oil base to them, which is very fatty. And even though you might not have a lot of it, it's a quick accumulation of calories without even trying. The next one kind of falls in line with that. This is failing to account for cooking oils and sprays that you use to make your food. If you cover your pan in olive oil, avocado oil, or butter before grilling your chicken, you're also going to be consuming the fat that you cooked the food in. And again, fats are always pretty high calorie. They're super calorie dense. Cooking a 300 calorie meal in a tablespoon of fat can take that 300 calorie meal and make it 400 calories. And if you cook your food 3-4 times a day, 21 to 28 times a week, you're having 2,800 extra calories that you aren't accounting for. So make sure just to keep track of that, or you could use a 0-calorie cooking spray. They have those at any store in the cooking oil section. You just want to be sure that you get one that is pure oil, so it doesn't have any aerosol ingredients. It's just the avocado oil, just the olive oil, just the coconut oil, whatever oil you want to choose. And you don't hold on to the spray for too long. It'll say 0 calories on the container, but it doesn't actually have 0 calories. They just get to choose their portion sizes and round the calories appropriately when they use the label. So if you look at the serving sizes, usually it'll say holding it for 1/10 of a second, which is really quick. That's all you're going to get 0 calories. Holding it longer, drowning the pan in oil that you sprayed is still going to add up and lead to fat calories. calories. So use that 0-calorie spray, use it sparingly, and that'll help reduce your total calorie intake pretty easily. The next one really goes out to my parents out there who have to finish their kids' plates. Usually you're finishing their plates, their extra snacks and nibbles without taking it into account. And maybe you're just having extra bites, maybe you work in a kitchen, maybe you're cooking, and you just have tastes throughout the day that aren't accounted for. It can seem small, and usually if it happens once or twice a day, you don't have to care about it too much, but keep a tally of how many times a day you are actually having these snacks and nibbles. Odds are it's more than you realize by the end of the day. Things like getting a handful of nuts, those kind of little snacks, little nibbles that you don't account for, or adding a little extra something to your food. It's easy to overlook, but doing it multiple times a day can really add up. The next mistake is just measuring things improperly. And this usually comes from using measuring cups and measuring spoons instead of weighing your food out. Now, using measuring cups and measuring spoons is a great way to track what you're eating and get a more accurate measurement of the actual calories you're consuming, but it's not the most accurate thing you could do. And this can be really easily manipulated to have you eating more calories than you realize. So I'm going to share with you 2 examples here in real time, one with peanut butter and one with rice. In the nutrition facts of a standard jar of peanut butter, you'll see that a serving size is 1 tablespoon or 25 grams. Now I'm going to take 2 different scoops of peanut butter, one where I'm just scooping 1 tablespoon and another one where I'm actually weighing it out to be 25 grams. You can see the side by side here. They are pretty similar looking. You wouldn't tell the difference. You could see that, they fit on the spoon in the same kind of way. When you're making a quick peanut butter sandwich, you wouldn't tell that it's more. The one where I just eyeballed the scoop to make it fit 1 tablespoon actually has twice as much peanut butter as the one where I weighed it out. It's almost 50 grams. That is double the calories than if you had weighed it properly. Let's say you put 2 tablespoons on every peanut butter sandwich that you eat and you have 1 sandwich every day. You're having an extra 320 calories of peanut butter per day that are unaccounted for. After 1 week passes, that's a total of 2,500 calories that you didn't account for, all because you're eyeballing with a measuring cup and a measuring spoon instead of actually weighing it out. Again, this applies to rice too. You could see here that I just scooped up a cup of rice and put it on the scale, and it ended up being way more than actually weighing it out, because you could tightly pack or loosely pack the cup and the measuring spoon to still fit the cup and measuring spoon, but still have more food than the actual serving size that you think you're having. So the tip here is try to weigh out whatever you can while at home. If you're making a meal at home, make sure to weigh it out onto a scale. You're going to get a much more accurate reading. You don't have to start out with weighing out your food. You can use measuring cups and measuring spoons for a period of time, but once you hit a plateau, once again, and you feel stuck, improving your accuracy of measuring can go a really long way. And the last hidden calorie killer here is a mistake in how you weigh your foods. When you take a raw food and you cook it, the weight is going to change before it's cooked and after it's cooked. With meats, it's going to dehydrate and become smaller. With carbs, it's usually going to sink up water and become bigger. And most packages will give you the measurement of the food based on the raw weight, not the cooked weight. In the cases of meats, cooking the food will usually shrink that food by about 25%. So if you had 4 ounces of raw chicken, you grill it, it's going to come out to be 3 ounces of cooked chicken. These equate to the same number of calories. If you weigh out 4 ounces of cooked chicken instead of 4 ounces of raw chicken, you're having an extra 1.5 ounces of food that you aren't taking into account. So with meats, if you're weighing it cooked, you're going to have extra calories that you aren't taking into account if you're logging it as just the plain food. With carbs, you're actually going to be having less food if you weigh it cooked than you do raw. Usually with carbs, it'll double in weight after being cooked. This is true for pastas and rices or anything that soaks in boiling water. With things like toast, it's going to shrink. With the ones that grow, you can weigh it out and have less food than you're actually taking into account. So you could be underfeeding yourself there. So not necessarily a hidden calorie, but you're keeping yourself from having more food than you could be having. So the big lesson here is try to weigh out your carbs and your proteins raw whenever possible. This will give you a more accurate reading of how many calories you're having and what your macro count is going to be for that day. If you forget to weigh it before, you could always guesstimate. Like I said, carbs usually double in weight once they absorb water. So if you're having rice or pasta after you've already boiled it, just take whatever you weigh while it's cooked and cut it in half, and that'll be a more accurate reading. For protein, it shrinks. So if you've already cooked it and you want to know what the raw measurement is, a good estimate is to take the cooked weight and divide it by 0.75. This will give you a pretty close estimate to what it was when it was raw, since it shrinks by about 25%. So stupid simple summary here on all the hidden calories that you might be consuming without realizing it. Hidden calories from drinks and sweeteners, hidden calories from dressings, sauces, and condiments, hidden calories from the cooking oils that you use to cook your food, hidden calories from the little snacks and nibbles that you might be having throughout the day without taking into account, hidden calories from using measuring cups and measuring spoons versus actually weighing out what you're eating, and discrepancy in when you're weighing out the food, whether it's raw or it's cooked. It's very common to be doing one or more of these early on in your dieting journey and unintentionally hit a plateau. If that's the case, just to recap, make sure to just start taking into account these hidden calories. Start with the easiest ones first that were at the beginning of the video and work your way through until you get to the more advanced ones at the end. This is going to give you the most accurate reading for how many calories you're having and help make your fat loss journey that much more effective. If you know a friend that's struggling to lose weight and is counting their calories, make sure to send this their way so that they can be a smarter dieter. And make sure to subscribe to the channel to get more helpful content like this every single week. And until next time, stay stupid.